Paedyn sees his chance and she's like, okay, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna fuck this bitch up. And she does indeed fuck this bitch up. Paedyn ends up obliterating.
Give me a book boyfriend like Kai Izram.
I'm loving this so far.
Because if I was Kitt, I would want Kai to myself as well.
His mouth hovers dangerous.
This book has officially destroyed me.
Hi girlies, welcome into today's video. Today I am going to be listening to Fearless by Lauren Roberts. I have been waiting to get my paws on this and honestly I'm so excited. Before we begin, I do quickly want to tell you guys that I will be listening to the audiobook instead of physically reading it, and I have a good reason. And the reason for this is because I am going to be seeing Lauren Roberts for her book tour for Fearless, and I ended up getting the tickets that come with a special edition of the Fearless book. That's the reason why I didn't end up buying a book, because I technically already have it, even though I don't have it right now. Without further ado, let's get into it. I have the audiobook right here on my laptop. I'm gonna start getting ready and I'm gonna be listening to this in the background, so wish me luck. Okay, before we begin, I'm gonna make some predictions about this book. I feel like Pay's gonna become the queen, and then Kitt's gonna find out that Kai's in love with her. They both love one another, and he won't be able to stand it, and he'll just like dethrone himself and leave the kingdom, and then Kai will end up becoming the king. That's my prediction so far, so yeah.
Kai. She is the single most destructive thing I have ever desired, and yet it is the diamond on her finger that will destroy me, because this was the last decree I ever thought would form on Kitt's lips.
True.
And he hadn't even bothered to inform me of it.
Yeah, what a snake! Remember how Kitt gave Kai so much shit in the second book in Reckless? He was like, I don't know if I can trust you because you used to betray father, you used to set like the ordinaries free, so I don't know if I can trust you. And this motherfucker turns around, betrays Kai, takes his girl, and he's like, bye! And he has the audacity to say to Kai that he can't trust him! Guys, I'm all ready. I've done my makeup. I'm at the part where Paedyn goes to her queen's quarters, her new bedroom. She's staring out of like the balcony and she sees all the beautiful garden. I can't believe I finally have Kai and Paedyn back. Oh, it feels so good.
I wanted to get a sticky bun, but they had no sticky buns left. Not a sticky bun, a cinnamon bun, because I wanted to honor Paedyn.
Weave around the circular.
I've gotten to the point where Ellie and Paedyn are having a heart-to-heart about everything. I love Ellie. She's so underrated. It's a very slow burn so far. I still have no idea where this is gonna go, but I'm looking forward to it. It's so cryptic. Guess what I ended up finding? You're not gonna believe this. 2 sticky buns! I can finally be Paedyn and live my fantasy.
I have my cinnamon bun right here and I'm gonna eat this up. So much has happened. Oh my god, guys, Lenny is alive. I repeat, Lenny is alive. I'm ecstatic. I was so happy once I found out Lenny was indeed alive. I want Paedyn to kill Blair. Fuck her and her pill with her. In chapter 5, right, so we have this moment between Kai and Kitt, and Kitt ends up giving Kai his enforcer ring back.
Having ungracefully toppled to the ground. What was this? He had kicked the damn door down. Can I get no privacy around here? I joked weakly. Privacy? Darling, I'd be in this bed beside you if my brother hadn't slipped a ring onto your finger. His mouth hovered. The problem wouldn't be taking that ring off. It would be getting me to put it back on.
Edric begrudgingly glances around the room. Did you dismiss the servants again? Iris rests a delicate hand atop her stomach. But it has been years since the people have heard about me, seen me. For all they know, I died shortly after giving birth to Kitt. And I would rather them think...
First of all, Kitt's mother was alive, or is alive. So the king was basically paranoid that the ordinaries would kill his wife, so then he made her go into hiding.
Hi guys, guess who's back? Me. I don't know if you can hear me properly. I'm sorry if you can't, but this is all I got. I've just finished chapter 13. Kitt, Kai and Paedyn end up going around Ilya and just meeting with the common folk. So they end up going to the slums. A few explosions take place. I don't know why, but I low-key suspect Callum. There's something about him that doesn't sit right with me. I feel like it's either Callum or it's either Easel. Another thing that happens is Paedyn is obviously
I'm gonna give you an update as to what has happened so far. Paedyn ends up having her first trials. She ends up going to the Sanctuary of Souls, where she has to retrieve the old dead queen's crown from like her grave. She ends up completing that mission, and she ends up like coming across 3 bandits on her way out, so she does have to kill 3 people. In chapter 17, there's a moment between Kai and his mother where she's aware of what is going on in the kingdom. So she knows that Paedyn is going to become the queen. She also kind of like asks Kai to promise her that he won't come between Paedyn and Kitt. Ooh, and then you also get introduced to Jax again. So Kai and him start talking about drinking, and you see this brotherly bond. Jax is kind of drunk. He's had a few drinks, and he says something along the lines of, "Why are you so worried about Paedyn? Isn't that supposed to be Kitt's job?" So when Jax makes this comment, Kai starts to think, how many others think the same? And then we come across a goddamn bombshell, which is in Edric's point of view again. So what happens is that Iris ends up dying in her second childbirth, and she ends up having a daughter, right? What is that daughter? She's powerless. She has no powers. So no way that can be Paedyn, right? I'm praying that it's not Paedyn, because honestly, that's like low-key kind of fucked up, because then she's gonna be Kai's stepsister, and no, I can't do this. Shit's getting weird and shit's getting drastic. I don't know what to think, guys. I'm loving this so far.
I want to begin with chapter 22. My favorite chapter of the entire book is chapter 22. I just want to state there's so much tension, there's so much cute moments between Kai and Paedyn, and it just made me reminisce about Reckless and Powerless and how cute they were in those 2 books. So basically what happens is that Paedyn ends up drinking a ton of alcohol because she comes across Blair. She can't really kill her, so the only exception is for her to get drunk to ignore all her problems. She ends up getting very drunk, and she ends up taking her slippers off, and Kai is the one who ends up picking her sandals off. He's like carrying her sandals the entire time whilst observing her from afar, and it's such a cute moment. This is like a moment that I loved.
Aren't you the one who loves to get drunk at these boring balls? With her free hand, she shoves a finger into my chest. Then you'd beg for a dance with me, and occasionally unlace my dress afterwards. I chuckle at her sly grin. You know why I did that. Yes, but what I don't know, she says innocently, is why you haven't since. I shake my head at her in disbelief. Are you flirting with me, Gray?
And then there's another moment where Kitt obviously has to ruin it.
Jax and Paedyn had yet to stop causing a scene with their incessant spinning. Has it been 3 dances? If they have any more, the court may begin to think our little brother is trying to steal away your betrothed. Oh, I doubt that's the brother they're worried about, Kitt says evenly.
You know what? Balls to the walls. Kitt is not messing around. Kitt is like, I know something is up between you 2.
Tears prick my eyes. You found my shoes for me. He says he loves me. Again and again.
Ugh. You found my shoes for me. On top of that, wait till you hear this about Kai.
I'm just happy you're feeling better. You were very out of it when Prince Kai dropped you off last night. I feel my cheeks redden. Yes, not my finest moment. He insisted on staying in here with you. She glances over at me bashfully. Said he would sit in that chair until he was sure you were asleep. I swallow. And did he? Yes. Her voice is quiet. And long after.
See, Kai just beats every fucking book boyfriend that I have on my list by a milestone, okay? None of them come close. Give me a book boyfriend like Kai Asler. Give me a book boyfriend like Kai Asler. I want one. So we move on to chapter 24, and basically we find out that Paedyn's second trial is gonna be in the Shallows, and she has to cross the Shallows, go to Izram, and basically convince the Queen of Izram to like open trade with them again and like offer a peace offering. Kai is like, what the fuck? Hello? I'm not sending my POOKIE over there without me. Kitt has a bitch fit, what's new? And Kai's like, I'm not just your enforcer, I'm Paedyn's as well.
I'm going with her. There is not a hint of hesitancy in my voice. I will follow her to the bottom of the sea if I must. Kai, You can't be serious, Kitt starts, sounding betrayed.
Basically, Kai's like, I'm not letting her go alone because there are rumors that the plague also affected animals. There's a myth going around, there's like a certain sea creature that is very dangerous. So you could technically say like a sea serpent equivalent to something like that. In chapter 25, Paedyn basically ends up showing Kitt the scar that the king gave her. He's like, I'm very sorry for that, and I hope to be a better king than my father was.
The child cries in Edric's trembling arms, its skin still sticky with blood. How could this nothing come from something so strong and rare? Get rid of it.
Oh wow.
Feet shift. It killed my wife.
It?
Edric says coolly.
It?
An ordinary killed my wife.
He deserved to
The king
die.
extends the child into...
Hi guys, I'm back. I am currently on chapter 31 and so much has happened. Kai and Paedyn obviously get on the boat. There are a lot of crew members. Callum gifts Paedyn her childhood books, and Kai ends up coming to Paedyn's bedroom every night to like listen to her read those stories to him. And he also comes across this myth, a story, which is a place called Izram, I believe, and then they end up reading a book about it, which is very cute, and Paedyn's kind of interested in it. But then all hell breaks loose. My girl Paedyn gets kidnapped. So basically they end up falling asleep together, and Kai wakes up. He just feels very dizzy and very hazy. He sees Paedyn lying next to him, and there's something off, and he recognizes her freckles, which is so cute. There's something off about her freckles, and then he clicks on and he's like, oh my god, it's like an illusion. That's not Pae. Pae has vanished. He gets onto the deck and he sees Paedyn tied up by 3 men. So he ends up killing all of them and saving Paedyn. They go to the captain and they tell him what's up, like, hey, this is a bit suspicious. Why the hell did you not know that your men were going to kill Paedyn? He's like, I was too busy like trying to steer the ship. There was like a huge storm that I was focusing on. Kai ends up asking a question, which is the tea. He goes, what's your power again? And he doesn't answer, and then Kai's like, yeah, I know what it is. His power is that he can sense everything and like hear everything. So that means that he could hear you when you were being dragged and kidnapped. He could hear your screams. He chose to not do anything. So he's equally as guilty as all of those other men, if not even more, because he knew what was happening and he still did not intervene. They end up meeting the queen, and she's called Xylus. So we meet her. She's very beautiful, but she's very, very like sharp. She says something along the lines of like, I'll accept your offer, but just know that you came to me, not I. It was not me who came begging to you. So she likes Paedyn, of course. Who doesn't? She offers her hospitality to them, which is only for 3 days. Paedyn is the only one that I'll accept in this palace. She's the only one that can stay in this palace for 3 days. The rest of you go back to your deteriorating ship and focus on that. Kai ends up secretly coming to Paedyn's bedroom through her back window. They kind of flirt with each other, and he mentions A for Ava, right? And Paedyn says she also gave Adina the same nickname, A, and they have that in common. And yeah, I'm up till that part.
Someone clears their throat. My hand is suddenly beneath the pillow, gripping the hilt of Paedyn's dagger before I've even turned towards the sound.
No.
But when my eyes crash into a dazzling green pair, I'm
queen?
to stop. The queen. Her gaze gleaming with amusement. I'm her enforcer. Oh, I know. She laughs dryly. I just didn't think this was part of the job description. You know, you are quite the pretty prince. In a different life of mine, perhaps, I would have kept you for myself.
See, I told you, nobody can resist Kai Azza.
And I'll watch you two look down on me from the dais. Nothing more than a weapon you can wield, just like the king you killed had. Disgust drenches my voice. What did you think we were going to do? Hide for the rest of our lives beneath the willow tree?
Oh, fuck.
The words are harsh enough to penetrate his mask. Well, that's where I will be, hiding from the royal couple. You know why I have to do this. I'm selfish, Paedyn. I burned your home to the ground just to have you, and now it is all of Ilya standing in my way, tempting me to light a match. His words are jarring enough to have me stumbling over my own. I was nothing more than a distraction.
No, Kai.
Maybe I should distance myself from this distraction. A muscle twitches in his jaw.
No.
Maybe you should. Fine. Fine.
That is where Mila comes in. Would tell the kingdom that you had mourned their late queen. Once the appropriate grieving period had ended, you took a wife in order to continue securing your line.
Edric slides a skeptical gaze to the stiffening woman. You already have a child?
She does. He is still a babe, barely a year old, and could easily be passed off as your own.
Oh my goodness, I'm so fucking grateful. So Kai is not the king's actual fucking son. No wonder why he was so harsh on him. It's not his real son. That's why he made him endure so much abuse. The plot is plotting. What a time to be alive, to be painting and the plot actually thickens. We've got 2 more minutes left. Let's see what happens.
Edric turns to Mila, who is the father.
No one of any concern.
She answers curtly.
Was he an ordinary?
The boy is extremely powerful.
The king grins. Marrying Mila Rowe will earn him power. Earn him a son he can mold into a weapon.
I can't believe this. Do you know what this means? Kai and Paedyn are not fucking siblings. Thank God. That means that Kai is not Kitt's real brother. Oh my lord. And Paedyn is the actual second heir to the throne. Oh my god, you know what? I think this is in like the beginning of the book where Kitt, Kai and Paedyn parade around the city, right? And they end up going to Loot Alley and there's like a bunch of explosions, right? I feel like there's someone behind those explosions. They were man-made. Someone in the ordinary circle, the kind of group that they had, it's either Callum who knows or someone else knows that Paedyn is the second heir to the throne. And I feel like they're plotting on killing Kitt so then Paedyn can actually be the rightful queen. Paedyn comes back and she's about to like apologize or like make amends with him, and then this huge sea creature just comes out of nowhere and starts attacking them, and they're literally on the edge of death, and Kai gets like completely thrown into the sea. Paedyn like grabs him out and saves him, and she's like, I'm sorry, and she's like, yeah, I'll forever wait for you by the willow tree. Now they've made it back to Ilya, so we'll see what happens from here. Ta-da! I'm actually so proud of myself. It's such a cute bookmark. I just finished chapter 37 and we had such a heartfelt moment between Adina's boyfriend called Mac and Paedyn. They ended up hugging each other in the end and it was a cute moment. But now we're seeing Kai and Kitt fight, and Kitt keeps coughing. Is he being poisoned or is this bitch gonna die? I feel like he's gonna die and he's gonna end up discovering that Paedyn is the second heir to the throne.
I am currently on chapter 42 and Paedyn's on her 3rd trial. I still don't know what it is, but I want to recap you on everything that has been going on because it's been getting so good. First of all, I want to talk about chapter 39, my second best chapter. I think it's up there with chapter 22. So basically Kai and Paedyn have this moment of secrecy where they pass notes to each other. Obviously they claim their never-ending love for one another. The whole chapter had me giggling and kicking my feet. And in one of the letters, Kai's like, oh, just like keep me engaged, keep me entertained, write to me, because what am I to do if I cannot count your freckles? And then Paedyn also starts writing letters to him, and she ends up saying, if I could go back in time, I'd choose to run away with you in the poppy field than all of this. She also says, I wish to be with you forever, hiding under the willow tree. Paedyn, Kai, take my heart. Paedyn ends up fucking obliterating Blair. So Paedyn comes across Blair in the corridors and Lenny's not nearby. Paedyn sees his chance and she's like, okay, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna fuck this bitch up. And she does indeed fuck this bitch up. Lenny comes in. Blair like traps Lenny with her mind powers. She enters her room. Paedyn follows her. And then the whole room ends up bursting into flames, right? Paedyn comes out of nowhere, grabs Blair's face and shoves her face towards the fire until it's melting. Yeah, that bitch is dead. Justice for Adina. And then we move on to chapter 41. So basically after this whole shabacle, she ends up going into Kai's room to let go of her anger that she's been penting up inside. All of a sudden, Kai's like, oh my goodness, I can sense Kitt's coming. He shoves Paedyn in the closet. Kitt comes to Kai and he basically tells Kai that Paedyn's third and final trial is tomorrow. It's supposed to be unexpected for Paedyn. There's this moment where Kitt says something really weird. He stares over Kai's shoulder and he's like, it's not time now, or something like that. And Kai's like, what? Like, brother, are you okay? He's out of it. Or maybe the dead are starting to talk to him. In chapter 42, the one that I'm currently on, Lenny comes to escort Paedyn, right? They have this talk about Blair and Lenny's like, I can't believe you killed her, this, that. And she was like, it was bound to happen, you know. And Lenny's very understanding, but at the same time, he's kind of like standing up for Blair. You didn't really know her, you only knew the bad parts. And he was like, oh, hopefully I'll see her again soon. And that just made me think that there was definitely something going on between Lenny and Blair, for sure. I was literally taking off my makeup and I was listening to Fearless. I'm still on track 50, I'm still on chapter 42. She has to kill Kai? I genuinely feel like something dodgy is going on. I feel like Callum is a mastermind. Kitt would never do this. Kitt would never kill Kai. He loves Kai. I need you to listen to this.
My head is shaking. I shut my eyes, squeezing out the cruel world beyond. This is a nightmare. This is pretend. Footsteps behind me grow louder atop the shifting sand. I press a hand to my pounding heart. Paedyn!
No!
It's when I turn, my eyes crashing into ones well memorized.
No.
When mist meets the deepest sea, when I stare into the face of what it is I love most.
No!
Chapter 43, Paedyn. The sword trembles in my hand.
My jaw is on the floor. Even Ellie can't believe it. She started licking herself. Ellie, no, you're drinking paint water. Ellie, no, she's drinking the paint water. Ellie, the guilty. Get your paw out of there.
It's okay. It was a good fight.
No.
And then the blade is buried to its hilt.
He cannot be dead. He can't be dead. I refuse to believe it.
Kai's eyes are on the sky, his gaze growing distant.
No. I don't care. He's not dead. He's not dead. I'm gonna go make some hot chocolate and everything is gonna be fine. Today is not a bad day because Kai is not dead. Chapter 48 was a wild chapter. They ended up drugging Kai. So the Kai that Paedyn killed was a clone, and Kai ends up telling her all of this, and despite him being drugged, he knew that something was wrong. He forced himself to stay awake and he saw her fighting someone that was not him. Okay, at this point, Paedyn thinks that she has killed Kai. I don't know why, but this statement that she makes made me so sad.
I watch what is left of Kai drip into the water, and for the first time in weeks, I'm not repulsed by blood. In fact, I wish to cling to his.
My poor Paedyn.
Paedyn, I love you. I've been waiting to tell you since I realized your eyes are my favorite color and your freckles the only constellation worth looking at. I could lie, say that you've stolen my every thought and heartbeat like the thief you are. But all of me was already yours.
Lauren Roberts, girl, when I catch you, I'm gonna give you a big hug. Because honestly, how dare you create a man who is so perfect, who is so loving, who yearns.
I love you, Malachi.
Oh.
I love you.
This moment specifically broke me when Kai says this.
You love me. Then, now, always. And I'll find your shoes for you in every lifetime if you'll allow it.
Hi girlies, I'm back. I am currently on chapter 59. I've just gotten to 59 and oh my goodness. The amount of stuff that has taken place, mind blown. This book has had so many plot twists, which is amazing but also daunting at the same time. I feel like I'm being thrown into so many different perspectives in the best way possible. I'm gonna go into like the most prominent things that have occurred. Paedyn ends up finding out that the wielder that was impersonating Kai was actually Mac, Adina's boyfriend, and it's such a sad moment. Kai ends up burying Mac in the poppy field for Paedyn. In chapter 54, Kai and Paedyn end up making love. There's no spice. It's not like smart, and I love that, but it insinuates that they did do the deed.
He tilts his head, wearing a dimple-framed grin. I'm quite good with corsets.
What? What?
Swiftly, he flips me from his lap to the blanket beneath us. I lie there, panting up at him. My back is bare beneath the arm he has wrapped around it, and nothing has ever felt so perfect.
So yeah, anyways, it's a cute moment between Kai and Paedyn, and then the next day she gets married to fucking Kitt. She gets married, and then we get this moment, right, between Paedyn and Callum. So Callum's acting really weird, like we've seen the whole entire time in Fearless. Callum says to Paedyn, "You look just like your mother." Paedyn's like, "Wait, how do you know what my mother looked like?" Kitt brings his mum's jewelry box. So basically Paedyn ends up going through the jewelry box and she finds a picture of Iris. She has bright blue eyes, just like Iris, and Iris ends up having a bunch of freckles on her nose, and Paedyn's like, "No, this cannot be." She ends up finding a note, and that note says, "Meet me in the gardens," something like that. And Paedyn's like, "Oh my goodness, Kitt's mum had a secret lover." She makes this correlation. Callum was the king's most trusted advisor, so he must have been there when Iris was alive. And on top of that, she also remembers how Callum made a comment about how she looked like her mother. Paedyn ends up confronting Callum. "You knew my mother, that's why you said I looked like her." Because Callum can read thoughts, she ends up thinking of this one thought and she's like, "Hello, father." And that's how chapter 58 ends. It's so interesting. Callum was always there for her every step of the way. It makes so much sense why Callum is also so close to Kitt, because Kitt's Iris's child and Callum obviously loved Iris. But then why the fuck would Callum end up making Paedyn and Kitt marry one another? That's fucking weird.
Why would you want an ordinary on the throne? I have great plans for you, Paedyn.
I fucking knew that Callum was evil. The amount of times that I pointed it out in this goddamn video.
You told King Edric not to kill me when I showed up at the castle, and he didn't. You told Kitt to marry me, and he did. What you demand, others do. You're not just a mind reader, are you?
He's a manipulator.
Take a slow step towards him. You're a mind reader and a controller. All your power, and you couldn't even make an elite.
Ooh.
Pathetic.
Ooh.
I spit the word aloud, watching it hit him like a blow.
An ordinary sitting at his table and pretending that she is not. So, this is the girl who saved you in the alley, the king says to his enforcer.
The fact that Edric knew that she was his daughter from the start and that she's an ordinary and she's not a psychic, it's crazy. I am currently on chapter 69, I believe. Oh my god, the plot all over the place. We're gonna start off with chapter 61. So Paedyn ends up telling Kitt everything and he ends up killing Callum. And then Kai ends up finding everything out about Paedyn. You see Kai being disgusted by the fact that Paedyn and Kitt are half siblings. And it's so funny because the entire time in the back of his mind, he's like, I have a better chance of being with her now. He's just like a hopeless romantic at this point. And then in chapter 62, they end up going to loot and everyone except Paige starts bowing down and they start accepting her as like the queen, and they start calling her Silver Savior, and Kai's kind of like shunned by this. And then in chapter 65, Kitt ends up becoming jealous of Kai and Paedyn's relationship and blames her for ruining their family. He ends up saying to Kai that she killed our father, and Kai ends up saying she killed your father, not mine. Kai ends up finding out that Edric, the king, is not his real father. And then, oh my goodness, you're not ready for this. I need to stand up for this. Okay, so Kitt is evil. Kitt is fucking evil. Kitt has been evil this entire goddamn time. And he's like, I'm planning to obliterate the whole kingdom. I'm planning to get rid of all of the ordinaries. He's like a master manipulator. Every time that I've felt so sympathetic towards him, it's gone out of the window. The reason why he ended up killing Callum was because Kitt ended up finding out that Paedyn was obviously, you know, the second heir, and he thought that he was a bastard. Kitt thought that he might be a bastard, and he thought that Callum might figure this out, so he couldn't let that happen. That was the reason why he killed Callum. And this entire time, he knew Callum was evil. He was just going along with it. He was just deceiving both Kai and Paedyn. His master plan was to take over all the kingdoms and rule over them. The reason as to why he sent Paedyn on those trials was to basically kill her. And the reason as to why he also sent Paedyn to Izram, to the queen, was to get those rose flowers across and to get them delivered. And what was in those rose flowers? They were laced with the plague. Izram's gonna be the first kingdom to fall, the first city to fall. They're all gonna turn into elites, and I'm gonna take over them. Kai and Paedyn are like, what the fuck? He's been evil this entire time. Kitt ends up getting so jealous of Paedyn and Kai's relationship. At this point, I low-key thought that Kitt had feelings for Kai. And now he's threatened by Paedyn because Paedyn's obviously the second heir to the throne, and he saw the way that people treated her in Loot and bowed down to her, and now he's even more threatened by her. So he's like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill this bitch because she might take my crown. And Paedyn's like, I don't want this crown. I don't know what you're spewing. I don't want any of this. Kitt and Kai end up having this huge duel and fighting each other because Kitt's like, I'm gonna kill Paedyn, and Kai's like, I'm not gonna let you do that. And he's just basically distracting him, trying to like ward him off and calm him down. Kitt has his sword and Kai just like grabs what's it called? I forgot what he ends up grabbing, but it's like a fireplace kind of rod, and they start dueling with each other. Kai ends up killing him. Kai is in despair. Kai was like, you were supposed to dodge that, you know, we were doing this like play fighting kind of thing. We weren't actually gonna kill each other. I was just trying to like, you know, calm you down. And Kitt's like, I'm so sorry. I just wanted it to be me and you. And Kai's like, it was always gonna be me and you. Kitt's like, the girl got in the way. And Kai's like, I could love you both. Trust me, I get Kitt, because if I was Kitt, I would want Kai to myself as well. Kai goes hysteric. He's trying to find a healer's power, but there's no healers in sight. He yells at Paedyn to go grab a healer, and by that time, Paedyn comes back. Kitt's already dead. Before Kitt dies, he takes off his wedding ring and he gives it to Kai, and he's like, marry her. So yeah, it was a very sad scene, but I didn't cry. I didn't cry as much as I did when Kai died, but maybe because Kitt was a douchebag.
I just got on chapter 70 and my jaw is on the floor, and I'm genuinely so heartbroken after chapter 69. Okay, so after Kitt's death, they start reading Kitt's letters. There's so much stuff that Kitt has written down. Kitt was basically a test subject for the plague, and that's why he was always coughing and he was feeling unwell. They find out how much he actually hated Paedyn. So you know that one time on the boat where the captain did not care about Paedyn essentially being murdered and killed? That was Kitt's doing. You find out so much in these letters about how much he loved Kai and how much he despised Paedyn because Kai loved her more than him. He also ended up paying Mac, Adina's boyfriend, to kill Paedyn. The amount of times Kitt initiated Paedyn's death is scary. Man, Kitt, I feel so bad for Kitt. It's like the cycle of abuse, right? Because he was abused, he became the abuser. It's just so emotional seeing that he did not end up breaking the cycle. He essentially ended up being just like his father, if not worse. Man, that whole chapter. I miss Kitt. And you know the thing is, like, Kitt actually really liked Paedyn until she deceived him. He thought that Paedyn would never deceive him, but she did end up deceiving him and telling the resistance about the tunnels. And that's when he kind of like stopped liking her. Oh, Lauren Roberts, why are you doing this to me? Honestly, Kitt's death was less emotional than Paedyn reading all of his letters and finding out how much he hated her. This book has officially destroyed me. I'm just gonna go into a field of poppies and just stare up at the sky, because honestly, what the fuck? Why? Kitt, why did you have to do this?
We're so close to the end and I cannot stop myself from tearing up. Obviously, I'm gonna catch you guys up on everything that has happened, but I want you guys to listen to this.
My wife. My eye in the storm. She slips a hand into one of the many pockets of her vest before shouting through the rumbling thunder. You're not the only one who brought a gift. I track the movement, blinking in the rain as she pulls a stem of forget-me-nots from the soaked fabric. Paedyn as her smile is dangerous as she reaches up to tuck the flowers behind my ear. So you don't forget who I am. And what am I? You are mine.
No.
Malachi. I always have been. Murmur. There's that smile I've been waiting to memorize.
Chapter 76. Paedyn. 5 years later.
Oh, okay.
I breathe in the fresh air, sun soaking my skin. You're right. Not a single handsome face for miles. Easy, Azar. Don't hurt your foot with such a blatant lie.
He calls her Azar. She's no longer Paedyn Gray, she's an Azar. They have a fucking child? Are you kidding me?
I glance over at the field of corn waving beside us. You still feel her, right? Kai's lips twitch into a smile. She's on her way back. Then he raises his voice towards the sea of corn. Did you find it? A small body tumbles from the maze of crop to scurry towards us. With a large ear of corn gripped between tiny fingers, she runs into her father's awaiting arms.
Father!
That's the one you were looking for? Kai asks, examining her loot. You're sure this is the best corn in all of Tando? I'm sure, Daddy. She shoves the... I pull her into my arms, trying to ignore how big she has gotten in the last 3 years, resting on my hip. Now, did you bring anything else back? Maybe some new freckles?
No.
She knows this game, and Kitt loves it.
Huh?
Kitt?
Over and...
Her name's Kitt?
Scarred flesh climbs up the side of her neck. Mutilated skin stretches across her features before disappearing into that lilac hair.
Black?
Only one half of her sharp face bears the remnants of my hatred, because I watch her shoulders tense beneath the cloak slung over
Oh
them.
gosh, she's alive. Oh my god, it makes sense now. That was the whole reason why Lenny wanted to be released from his guard duties. This is when Paedyn is getting married to Kitt. Lenny ends up saying to Paedyn, hey, can you do me a favor when you become queen? And she says, sure, anything. And he ends up saying, could you please release me off my imperial duties? I want to go traveling to Dor. So I think Lenny and Blair are a thing. Because he also said, I'll be seeing her soon, right?
I do not wish to avenge Adina any longer. I wish for her to rest. So with a slight nod of my head, I let Blair go. My husband stands at my side, just as he always has and always will. He smiles, and it's the one meant solely for me. Kitt copies her father, though only one stolen dimple peeks out on her right cheek. This life is sweet. Like honey.
Oh.
Epilogue. Kitt.
You have been listening to a Simon & Schuster audiobook, Fearless by Lauren Roberts.
And there we have it, guys. Fearless is done. The Powerless trilogy has officially ended. This has been such a joyride. I don't even know where to begin. no Kai and Paedyn. But at the same time, I'm so happy because I finally got that happy ending. I feel happy right now, but I know later at night I'm gonna be crying myself to sleep.
Okay guys, I'm back. I'm gonna quickly catch you guys up on what happened. There's this bittersweet moment between Kai and Paedyn where he's digging up the grave for Kitt. He just can't do it. He's unable to do it, and Paedyn comes. She ends up digging this grave for him.
Have you come to help me dig, darling? You've dug enough graves for me. I figured I would repay the favor. My sob is part laugh. I don't know how I would survive this without you. Well, never again will you have to survive anything alone.
Zyla, the queen of Izram, ends up finding out that the flowers were laced with the plague, and she does end up writing a letter to Paedyn, basically saying, Paedyn, I trust you, okay? And I do want to be friends with you, and I'm guessing this wasn't your plan. I know it was the king. There's so many cute moments towards the end of the book. Chapter 73! It's my third favorite chapter.
My knee meets the cobblestone, and her mouth opens in a gasp.
Same.
Marry me. Hey, I'm already on one knee, but I'll get down on both and beg for you if you like. I lift that ring towards her, the one Kitt pressed into my palm with a dying wish. Love each other for me. I love you, she says, and I will spend the rest of my life shouting it until even Izram hears.
So yeah, basically after that, Kai becomes a king and they end up having their wedding ceremony, and there's this cute comment that Lenny ends up making.
Lenny asks if I am ready. I don't hesitate before taking his arm. All this time I've been calling you princess. Who the hell would have guessed you were one?
Okay, and then my last favorite moment is this.
Then I'm placing that delicate crown onto her damp hair. She gapes at me in shock. You finally did it. You made a flower crown.
Ooh.
I just needed more practice.
And they end up exchanging their vows under the willow tree. It's such a cute sentimental moment. We also end up getting an epilogue of Kitt where he kind of talks to his mother Iris, I believe, and also reunites with his father. It's also so cool seeing Kai and Paedyn's relationship evolve and them actually having a child together. That was such a cute, sweet moment. My theory is that Lenny and Blair definitely had a thing. This ending was perfect. I have nothing to complain about. I loved every second of this book. I kid you not. There wasn't a moment that I felt frustrated in this book, other than the first few chapters where Kai and Paedyn were hiding their relationship from Kitt. But other than that, I have loved this entire book. I have no criticism at all to give. And God bless Lauren Roberts for creating this amazing piece of work. I have loved it and I love her for it. I can't believe it's finally ended. What am I gonna do with my life? Anyways, this book was a joy to listen to, and thank you for coming along for the ride. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did. Let me know what your thoughts and opinions were of this book, if you listened to it or if you actually read it. So yeah, thank you for watching and see you till next time. Bye!